New Thought Media Network. We are a global broadcast network of positive music, media, and entertainment, inspiring humanity's evolution along the journey of enlightenment and creating a world of love, peace, empowerment, and prosperity for all. New Thought Media Network. Positively inspiring. New Thought Media Network. We are a global broadcast network of positive music, media, and entertainment, inspiring humanity's evolution along the journey of enlightenment and creating a world of love, peace, empowerment, and prosperity for all. New Thought Media Network. Positively inspiring.
Live from a secure concrete bunker somewhere in Ohio, New Thought Media Network presents Pastor Michael Mangus with Friday's Fireside Chat, spiritual conversation for today. Here he is from the secret radio room, surrounded by thousands of watts, Pastor Michael Mangus.
Oh, yes, with a smile on my face and a song in my heart. It is time once again for another fun-filled, thrill-packed, and guaranteed by Jeff Radcliff, always exciting edition of the Friday evening Fireside Chat here on your New Thought Media Network. I am the Reverend Michael Mangus, and I'm broadcasting this evening from the Charles Fillmore Radio Room, surrounded by thousands, and I mean thousands of watts, in the extremely secure concrete bunker that is so top secret that only one person knows where it's at. Everyone else, especially my boss, who cringes every time I say that, the Reverend Dr. Robert Brzezinski, especially, he does not know where the concrete bunker is located, and we are going to keep it that way. Well, hi there. Welcome to everyone. This evening, we do have a wonderful show. I say that every week, but we do. And please feel free to interact with us by posting your comments on Facebook or on YouTube. I get all my shy people out there. I know you're out there. You don't want to comment. I get that. All you need to do is, once I get my banners up, there you go, is to go to pastormichaelmangus@gmail.com. pastormichaelmangus@gmail.com. I think someone erased it. No, they didn't. There it goes. This is what happens when you produce your own show, folks. pastormichaelmangus@gmail.com. And I read those during the week. So the purpose of our weekly gathering here is to talk about contemporary issues from a New Thought / spiritual perspective. And as I keep saying week after week, I want us all to have a new thought about what is going on around us. Not to be afraid of it, not to shut it down by not watching the news, which I've seen many people do, but to be aware of what's going on. And to say to yourself, well, what is my part in bringing about a world that does work for everyone? Okay. Again, from the state of confusion, calling itself the great state of Tennessee, we have this evening just for you, now, is it loud enough?
A little bit more.
Oh, a little more?
Yeah, just a little. That's good. You can still talk over it.
Okay. All right. Now, so Jeff wants me to go back to my imaging guy, Tom Daniels, and to get something else. Is that correct?
Absolutely.
Well, I want you to know.
I've got like 5 or 6 different ideas, but I've only asked for one.
For one? Okay. Well, this week, Tom Daniels at tomdanielsvoice@gmail.com. He was thinking about you because we finally have, for your segment.
Now here's Reverend Jeff Radcliff with the story of the week.
I love it. The echo. Love the echo.
You know, Jeff, he's really expensive.
Oh, yeah? Well,
I mean, when he does those for radio stations and commercial clients, it's like, get your checkbook out.
yeah.
But he likes you.
What's not to like? I'm awesome. And I'm no stranger to radio, and I know how much those guys charge. Those guys
well,
but they're worth it. Most of them, anyway.
Well, once again, this week, we will have the extremely popular, and this is probably the reason why we come here every single week, is one. Once again, ladies and gentlemen.
Now here's Reverend Jeff Radcliff with the story of the week.
I can't wait till it's my turn.
Oh, okay. Now, Legal went over your story, Jeff.
Uh-huh.
And they're concerned.
Oh, really? Wow.
Yeah, because they think that you're like ingesting the magic mushrooms. Because your story is about flying zebra.
Mm. Well, I could have made it about a flying bird, but everybody sees those. I mean,
oh, no, we have to have flying zebras. Hey, Tim, my radio buddy, Tim Davison. Good evening, sir. You can tell Tom that we went ahead and we played his work. Tim is a part of our radio professionals group. So doesn't Tom charge a lot of money, Tim? He does, doesn't he? Okay. Well, anyhow. Well, happy Friday the 13th to you, my friend.
do you know I have spent all day off and on social media. You know, I've had other things going on during the day as well, but I have not seen anybody say anything about Friday the 13th until just now with you.
That's it.
I haven't seen any posts about it. No memes. No, people running amok in the streets.
That's because there's other stories on people's minds. And happy Father's Day to you.
Thank you, sir.
Yes.
Thank you.
As you celebrate.
And happy belated birthday to Divine Science founder Melinda Kramer.
Okay.
Who will be 181 years old yesterday.
That young.
Yeah.
All right. Ladies and gentlemen, I hope in your beverage this evening that you have put a couple of shots of good stuff in it. Because, ladies and gentlemen, we now present for your listening pleasure the news. And from the 24-hour news, station? 24-hour news central. I'm Michael Mangus reporting. along with Jeff. You know what? Maybe what we could do is we could market Reverend Jeff's holy water, 100% proof bourbon.
Yeah.
Your own private label.
That would be cool. That way I could get off the cheap Canadian stuff.
Okay, maybe Mindy could help us out with that. Your buddy?
Well, she, not to name drop or anything, but her family does have a major bourbon distillery.
Right. Well, I'm saying, we need to make some connections here. We could do it as a fundraiser for New Thought Media Network.
That would work.
And now
it's either that or I put a pot of water on the stove and boil the hell out of it. That's the only other way I know how to make
that's your holy water. Yes, I know. That's a very old and bad joke.
I know, but it's still just like that opening that you do every week. That's old and tired too. But we still indulge you. And
maybe what we can do is to maybe have Tom work on that.
Yeah, because you know what? When it comes down to the secret bunker, nobody really gives a shit where it is, Michael. I'm sorry.
Oh, come on. Well, I do.
You don't care?
I do. I give a care where it's at. Okay, see, this is what happens, Jeff, when we take a week off.
We come back and we snark.
We come back and everything has gone to hell in a handbasket.
And I'm driving.
The news gets more interesting.
I'm telling you, you can't blink without stuff happening.
Okay, so this is where we begin this evening. And I think he was just waiting for the opportune time to go ahead and to pull this. But California National Guard will remain under federal control after an appeals court late on Thursday, it was early Friday morning, paused a ruling ordering President Donald Trump to return control of the force to Governor Gavin Newsom. The Ninth U.S. Circuit Court of Appeals said it was putting on hold the ruling issued earlier on Thursday by senior U.S. District Court Judge Charles Breyer, pending further orders. The appeals court is scheduled for a hearing in the matter on Tuesday. Meanwhile, isn't that a cool picture, though?
It's awesome.
Yeah, a rose there right beside all of the National Guard.
It reminds me of the picture of the Irish kid back during the, several years ago in Northern Ireland, where he's putting the flower into the muzzle of the rifle that's being pointed at him. Did you ever see that picture?
Yes, that's a great picture.
Yeah. This comes close.
Yes. Meanwhile, protests in the City of Angels, Los Angeles, against Trump's immigration raids stretched into their seventh night. LA Mayor Karen Bass said that the 1 square mile downtown curfew, let's understand this, 1 square mile, which has now been in place for 3 nights, will likely continue for a few more days. Now, Governor Gavin Newsom and the LAPD said that they did not need any help at all controlling the situation. They didn't need any help at all with individuals protesting ICE raids on places of employment, of which those individuals who were picked up, many of them have legal status in this country, have work permits, are allowed to be here. So what did 47 do? Of course, he sends in the California National Guard and the Marines, for God's sakes, the Marines, who are trained in lethal force only. He sends them in, uninvited. Why do you pour gasoline on a volatile situation? Governor Newsom and the mayor of Los Angeles said that they had the situation handled, and also the LAPD. So where's all my conservative friends out there? Where are you? What about states' rights? Don't you understand?
Yeah, it's states' rights whenever you want to keep your Confederate flag up or your statues of Confederate generals, but go figure.
Now, we told everyone here on the New Thought Media Network on the Friday evening Fireside Chat that Trump 2.0 was going to be this way. The governor did not request any military help at all. All right. But Donald went ahead and sent in troops. How many more times in the next 3.5 years are we going to have to talk about this? I remember here in Ohio hearing a song by Crosby, Stills, and Nash, 4 Dead in Ohio.
Mm-hmm.
What's going to happen here? And again, Donald has been wanting to use military force against U.S. citizens since his first term. However, that he had some guardrails and constraint with his advisors back then, who said, I don't think this would be good, Mr. President. Now, all those people are gone. And now they're on CNN and all the news channels saying, we told you so. Your comment, Reverend Jeff Radcliff.
You mentioned earlier that these riots, protests, are taking place in about a 1 mile square area. Very, very small when you consider that the city of Los Angeles and its environs is 503 square miles. We're talking about 1 square mile out of 503 square miles. You know what? You can't fit all that many people into a square mile there anyway. So the number of National Guardsmen and then the number of Marines that he's sending in is overkill. And you're right. This is going to be another Kent State. It has the potential to be that way. I would like to think that it will not get that far. Hopefully, cooler heads will prevail, but the chances are very real.
Well, this is what happened overnight. Los Angeles police took several people into custody on Thursday evening for failing to leave the roughly 1 square mile zone under curfew starting at 8 p.m. The curfew again was in place for a third night in a row for a part of downtown.
Mm-hmm.
As protests against Donald Trump's aggressive administration enforcement actions reached their 7th night. In an X post shortly before curfew, the LAPD says it has authorized the use of non-lethal crowd control munitions after some demonstrators started throwing concrete and commercial-grade fireworks. First of all, let me, as someone who's a little, as a amateur pyro,
Arsonist,
pyrotechnician. You have to, for commercial grade fireworks, you have to have an ATF license to go buy those things in the first place. And that you have to, again, give an accounting of where you went ahead and let these things off. I really doubt that it was commercial grade. I think it was consumer grade. What do you think, Jeff?
I think the same thing. They're trying to, like you said, they're throwing gasoline on the fire, trying to get something started here. And I'm not one for conspiracy theories, but we on the left also seem to have them. And one that has been going through that is really kind of feasible is that in amongst the genuine, sincere protesters are possibly paid provocateurs to go in and stir stuff up.
Please.
That's word that I've been hearing.
Please.
I don't know that I buy that, but when you consider that Trump has a track record, shall we say, of asking people to attend his rallies and he'll write them a check. A wink
So
is
who's paying who, though?
What's
Who's
that?
paying who? Is it the right wing?
The GOP.
So the GOP,
or
now,
at least,
know
or at
this.
least,
This is
or at least
conspiracy
the higher ups in the MAGA movement.
Okay.
Which means that they're also GOP.
Well, I thought that they were blaming Antifa.
Well, yeah, they're going to blame whoever they want to blame. And yesterday was blame somebody else day. Or no, that's today. Today's Friday, right? Today is blame somebody else day. Yeah. So they're going to blame whoever they want anyway. But the fact of the matter is, if anybody is paying them, it's going to be the MAGA higher ups in the GOP, and then turn around and blame Antifa.
Now, we don't know this for sure. Reverend Jeff is just giving you, again, speculation off of the internet.
Yeah. And I'm not even saying that I believe it, but.
Okay. But, and again, you wrote me and you told me I had to make this banner. Happy birthday.
I did not.
Happy birthday, President Donald Trump.
Besides, what I told you was that you needed to get a blonde wig and a white dress and sing happy birthday to him.
No. No.
Oh, come on. Because
no,
make a great Maryland impersonator.
No, dude, me and drag, no. I will leave that to professionals.
Okay.
Like Flamey Grant and others. All right. Well, happy birthday, President Donald Trump. What are you getting the president for his birthday? Are you sending a card or baking a cake or doing anything?
I'm going to hold up 10 fingers and let him pick one.
Oh.
Isn't that a great joke? I just went over your head.
All right.
I'm not getting him a damn thing.
Okay. All right.
I'm not watching him on TV. I'm not watching his little parade.
Now, most individuals on their birthday, they'll go out to dinner or they'll have a birthday cake and ice cream with their family.
Mm.
However, when you are DT, you need to have a military parade that will cost the American taxpayers at least $45 million plus. Where's all the MAGA and all the conservatives talking about wasteful spending $45 million on this display of force?
They don't see it as a waste, though.
Well,
I don't know why they don't, but.
Well, again, that the reason he got this idea, and the reason I'm showing this picture is because flying home from his first visit to Paris as president, an awestruck Donald Trump told aides aboard Air Force One that the military parade that he just witnessed was one of the most dazzling spectacles he's ever seen. Get to work, he told them. He wanted one at home. So 8 years later, after several failed attempts during his first term, Donald will get his wish on his birthday. The parade is set to roll down Constitution Avenue in Washington, D.C. on Saturday. Will amount to the largest display of military might in the nation's capital at least since 1991, and that's when a parade of tanks, troops, and missiles marked the end of the first Gulf War. Now, we do not we do not do conspiracy theories. We'll tell you about them, but
Yeah.
it's forecast for tomorrow during Donald's parade that there will be thunderstorms and torrential rains.
That's not going to be good for his hair. Just saying.
Is that what you're concerned about, Jeff?
No. He wouldn't go to the veteran cemetery in France because it was raining and it would mess up his hair. If it does this during his parade, he won't be there. He'll be too vain to go there. They'll have to call it off.
So, again, from the news article, it says there's nothing to indicate that the president or his current advisors are remotely concerned that the parade might send the wrong message. Now, one official told CNN, no one ever called Emmanuel Macron a dictator for celebrating Bastille Day, referring to the French president who hosted Trump in 2017 and who put this wild idea into his head. For his part, the birthday boy is vowing a patriotic show unlike anything ever seen before. He said, it's going to be an amazing day. We have tanks, we have planes, we have all sorts of things. And I think it's going to be great. We're going to celebrate our country for a change. To be featured will be 6,700 soldiers, 50 helicopters, 34 horses, 2 mules, and 1 dog.
There's going to be Jackass in the parade. He's coming down out of the stands and marching. Well, that is really cool. I just hope that he stops to remember troops that are still laying down their lives in defense of this country, including the soldier here at Fort Campbell who lost his life on Wednesday in a helicopter crash. But he probably won't because, Trump has already talked about our dead veterans as suckers and losers.
As suckers and losers, yes.
Yeah. So
I don't understand where his base gives him any leeway at all about this. I thought that they were patriotic.
I don't know.
Well,
and I say that as a veteran with a service-connected medical disability, I have no idea where their heads are at. All I know is that I took an oath when I joined the Army to protect the Constitution against all enemies, foreign and domestic.
Right.
That oath did not have an expiration date attached to it. And yet I see veterans out here, and I live in a town with the second largest military base in the United States. And the number of Red Hat veterans walking around just boggles my mind, because somewhere along the line, they forgot the oath that they took to defend and protect the Constitution. Why? I don't know. I wish I knew.
Well,
Orange Kool-Aid is very powerful.
Instead of celebrating the president's birthday tomorrow, millions, and I mean millions of protesters are expected at No Kings rallies as President Trump's military parade takes place on his birthday. So President Donald Trump's birthday will be celebrated again with that military parade. millions of Americans are expected to protest.
And you'll notice in that map, there is not one state that does not have a protest attached to it.
That's right. Isn't that interesting? Even a lot of, and I noticed a lot in Pennsylvania, that again, that most of the counties, even in Pennsylvania, are going to have a No Kings rally. But more than 1,900 of these across 50 states, all 50 states are planning through the No Kings movement, which organizers say seeks to reject authoritarianism, billionaire first politics, and the militarization of our democracy. Again, go ahead.
He can spin this to say that he's celebrating the 250th anniversary of the founding of the United States Army.
Right.
We all know better. That map shows that across the country, people know better. We know what it's really about. He needs a big parade because he's got so little self-esteem.
I thought you were going to say something else.
I thought about it, and I thought, well, let's take the high road this time because I don't want to talk about tiny hands.
Okay, yeah, please don't.
But this is proof that we know better, that we know what his agenda is, what his motive is all about.
Right.
The proof is right there. He was voted in on a mandate. He was, a mandate from the people. Bullshit. There's your proof that was not a mandate.
All right.
Landslide? No.
All right. So here we have, who is the sheriff? Buford T. Pusser? Was that his name?
Oh yeah, from Walking Tall.
Yeah. Well, I don't know, but anyhow, this sheriff says, "We will kill you," and it's the guy on the left. He says, "We will kill you if the protests get out of hand." In Florida, Brevard County Sheriff Wayne Ivey said that peaceful protests are a part of a democracy and people are invited to express their opinion. But he said anyone who breaks the law will face consequences. He told CNN affiliate WESH, if you throw a brick, a firebomb, or point a gun at one of our deputies, we will notify your family where to collect your remains because we will kill you.
Oh my God, I am flashing on. Remember the TV show Firefly?
No, I don't.
You need to find and watch it. It was hilarious. But Malcolm Reynolds, who was the captain on the sci-fi TV show, he was telling one of the characters that worked for him, if anyone ever tries to kill you, you try to kill them right back. That's what this guy is inviting. We're going to call your family and tell them where to pick up your remains. Yeah, they're gonna start something. Like you said earlier, it has the potential to turn really ugly if we let it. We cannot let it.
We cannot let it. And again, that organizers are doing what they did before, which was to tell people that if they see any type of bricks out of place, if they see anything that could be thrown, is to tell your organizer in that area of what's going on. Because again, that's what some want to happen on Saturday. They want violence, and we can't give it to them, folks. Again, our voices count, but it must be peaceful here.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Another piece of advice that I saw was that if things start getting really rowdy, to sit down. That way, the other side knows that those who are standing still are the ones who are causing the trouble, that you're not. Problem with that is you sit yourself on the ground and they start shooting. Everybody's going to start panicking. It's going to be a mad rush. There's going to be a lot of people who can get down on the ground a whole lot easier than they can get up. And a lot of people can get hurt in a stampede. So,
all right. And again, folks, please, this is the reason why voting is so important here. We need to get these people out of office. This is a moral and ethical crisis in our country. That's the reason why we're talking about it. We're not talking about it because it's political. We're talking about it because this is just absolutely crazy what's going on here. Let's see here. We have some comments. Raymond Anderson, good evening, sir. He says it's accurate. And also, Tim says, George W. Bush seems like George Washington compared to 47. Good comment, Tim.
Well, I will share something that I posted on my social media just about an hour ago, because I'm not going to be at any of these protests.
Okay.
And this is verbatim. Tomorrow, many Americans will join tens of thousands of their neighbors at protests across the country to send a clear message to Donald Trump. In America, we don't do kings. For various reasons, some of us are unable to participate. I will support the effort by remaining at home in prayer and meditation during my local protest. I will hold a high watch and know that all who lift their voices in protest are safe and protected, and that the message gets through loud and clear. I will affirm divine order. And I've had responses on that, including a friend of mine who was going to be at our local protest, but her father had a stroke yesterday, so she will be at the hospital. But she will be joining me in prayerful meditation for those who are standing there in our stead. But my message to those who are going, like Michael said, be smart, use your head, don't lose your cool.
Yes.
Don't lose your temper.
Yes. And again, that expect counter protest tomorrow. Mm-hmm. Expect that. And instead of yelling at them, give them a flower. How about that?
That's awesome. That would be good. That would be really good. No, I'm serious. If I wish somebody would have thought of that, to make that part of the thing. Bring flowers. Yeah.
All right. Coming up right after the quick break, we have Reverend Jeff's story of the week.
You don't do it as well as
I know. Well, again, he has a professional studio. He's professional voice talent.
Yeah.
Emmy Award winning voice talent.
Maybe you just work too cheap. That's all.
Oh, I work cheap, or he does?
You do.
Oh, okay. Well, well, we're gonna be right back here. Let's do some announcements, and then we will be right back with Reverend Jeff's story of the week here on the New Thought Media Network in the Friday evening fireside chat. All right. So I am still at Summit CSL, and if you would like to join us this Sunday, you are more than welcome. Our wonderful Sunday gathering is at 10:30 Eastern, 7:30 in the morning Pacific time. Please grab your cup of coffee or your tea or your espresso, whatever wakes you up, and please join us. And I do believe that we do have one of the best services in New Thought. And this Sunday, see what we did on Mother's Day was we had a male speaker. So on Father's Day, we are going to have a female speaker. This Sunday, we will have as our Father's Day speaker, author and educator, Dr. Carol Ann Drick. So go to summitcsl.org for more information on how to join our wonderful service. We would love to see you this Sunday. All right. We'll be right back right after these messages. And you're watching the Friday Evening Fireside Chat here on your New Thought Media Network.
What if the person you think you are is just a fraction of who you truly are? What if years of conditioning and surviving in a challenging world have left you clinging to strategies and beliefs that mask your truest nature? I'm Catherine Duca, psychotherapist and self-esteem coach, and you're listening to Who Do You Think You Are? A show that looks beneath our psychological masks and uncovers our profoundly messy, beautiful, brilliant, tender-hearted essence. Join me as we go in search of the hidden power of our true selves. I'm so glad you're here.
The views and opinions expressed by Pastor Michael Mangus are generally right. However, they are his own and do not reflect the views and opinions of New Thought Media Network, Centers for Spiritual Living, or any other person living or dead. As they say in the 12-Step Recovery Program, take what you like and leave the rest. Here again is Pastor Michael.
And now, soon to be award-winning feature of our show here on the Friday Evening Fireside Chat. Ladies and gentlemen, he even had it professionally recorded. Here you go.
Now here's Reverend Jeff Radcliff with the story of the week.
We'll play it again.
Yeah, do that.
Now here's Reverend Jeff Radcliff with the story of the week.
We just need week put on a loop and over and over and over.
Oh, you think so, huh?
That would be awesome. That would be good. You know what's
all right,
surprising?
sir. It's all yours. It's going to the Flying Zebras now, right?
You're ruining my story. Don't give so much of it away. But I'm amazed at how many people have not heard about this, because this was news all over the country. News outlets all over covered it, but I've talked to people who were not in Tennessee who knew nothing. It was a dream that turned into a nightmare. A guy by the name of Taylor Ford, who lives about 30 or 40 miles south of Nashville in a little area called Christiana, has a 115-acre farm. Lost his pet zebra. He has this farm, and he's got like all kinds of exotic animals on there. He's got buffalo, and he's got this, that, and the other. Thought that he would like to have some zebras. He saw somebody else have some zebras in their yard, and he thought, oh, that'd be really cool. So the guy, Taylor Ford, decided to buy a couple of zebras from a farm in Texas. Now, it is legal to have zebras in Tennessee. It is legal. His wife, Laura, though, started to get cold feet about the whole thing. She thought that, this is not going to end up being good. And she was right, because about 15 hours after Zeke, which was what they named the zebra, Zeke the zebra, and he had a girlfriend, they brought a female zebra as well. About 15 hours after he arrived in Tennessee, Zeke got loose. They don't know. He got out of his enclosure and went on the run. And for 8 days,
What?
he was showing up in people's yards on their Ring cameras. The local news sent up their helicopters, and they went looking for him. They caught glimpses of him here and there. There's video footage, and you can Google this. It's all out there on the internet. There is a video of him galloping down the interstate before he veers off into the woods. he got famous. Nobody seemed to know that the poor little guy's name was Zeke. So they started calling him Ed, as in Mr. Ed. So the Fords decided to change his name from Zeke to Ed, but that's, beside the point. But he was out there for 8 days, and finally, the farm that they got him from in Texas sent up a
Sent a cowboy
and a team. How they zebras when they go to sell them, and ship them out. They fly over and they find the zebra and they drop a net on him. Okay. Then they land. They've got ground crew there as well. It's kind of like those guys that chase the hot air balloons.
Right.
They've got a team on the ground who run up to the zebra and they tie him up in the net.
Okay.
And then the helicopter just kind of flew him back to wherever their truck was. They flew this poor animal through the air. And what's really cool is there is video footage of that too, because he's spinning around really slowly, and it's almost like he's up there looking at the landscape as he's flying through the air. And they take him back to where their truck is and load him up, and they took him back to the Ford's farm. But
do you understand now why Legal thought that you were hitting the mushrooms?
Oh yeah, I could. Yeah, because this is something you don't see every day.
The poor zebra. Well,
now Taylor Ford didn't respond to some questions that were asked of him by the media. People wanted to know how much a zebra cost, and he wouldn't tell them that. All he would say was that it costs about the same as a horse, which could run anywhere from $3,000 to $10,000 to however much.
Right.
And they can live for up to 25 years. And he decided that he didn't want to spend 25 years out chasing this poor creature all over Hell's Half Acre in Middle Tennessee. So he's going to get rid of Zeke, and he's hoping what he's hoping is that the alpacas and the bison and the cows won't miss him too much. But he's hoping that maybe a zoo will take him to where folks can come see him, rather than have him go off to a private owner who may or may not let, folks come visit. So,
well, ladies and gentlemen, once again,
that
was Reverend Jeff's story of the week.
Week.
What should we go to next here?
You can't top this. We ought to just stop right now.
I know.
This is the big draw here. So this is the icing on the cake. You can't.
I know. Well, again, but hey, maybe a couple more stories here.
Okay.
All right.
You have anything fun?
I do.
Okay.
For the last story, I do have a fun story.
All right.
Because it involves drag queens. All right. Well, this week, the vote to bar churches with women pastors fails again at the Southern Baptist Convention meeting. For the second year in a row, a move to bar churches with women pastors from the nation's largest Protestant denomination failed. A proposed amendment to the Southern Baptist Convention Constitution, which would have kept any church that affirms, appoints, or employs a woman as a pastor of any kind that belonged to the SBC. It got a 60.74% of the vote on Wednesday, just shy of the 2/3 majority needed to move forward. A similar proposal failed last year on a second vote. So since 2020, the SBC Statement of Faith has limited the office of pastor to men, but a number of churches have told the SBC what to do. A number of churches have given women in supporting roles a ministerial title, such as children's pastor, women's pastor, or worship pastor. Those churches have often interpreted the ban on women pastors as applying only to the senior pastor role. The ban on women pastors was rarely enforced on a national level until 2 years ago when Saddleback Church, one of the largest churches in the SBC, who is now gone from them, was expelled for having women pastors on staff.
I remember.
What's up with these people?
I don't understand why they want to
church history.
Why do they want to cling to the Southern Baptist thing anyway? They could go to the American Baptist side of the Baptist church who love women pastors.
Absolutely.
So, the first college I attended was an American Baptist affiliated college, and it was awesome. It was great. So,
well, we had some sad news during the convention, during the meeting. The messengers also, that's the voting pastors and members called messengers. They also paused a note to death last week of sexual abuse whistleblower Jen Lyell. Paul Cooper, who's a messenger from Marshall, Illinois, asked Dr. Al Mohler, who's the president of the Southern Baptist Theological Seminary in Louisville, to pray for Lyell's family and friends. Mohler says, "We pray with a broken heart in the death of our sister." The 12.7 million member denomination will hold its 2026 annual meeting in Orlando, Florida next year. It's unclear whether the ban on women pastors will be up for debate during that time. I just don't understand. I mean, I know Episcopalian priests who are women, and they're wonderful. They're wonderful celebrants. I don't understand. I just don't. But
make it quick. We only got 5 minutes.
I can go as long as I want.
And then Rev Doc's going to get all over you.
just for you. See, I think about you every single week, Jeff.
You do not.
Okay.
Do you really? Really?
You're right, I
don't. Don't get my hopes up. I mean.
Okay. Here you go.
Okay.
All
right. Look at the one over on the right, dressed like Melania.
What?
Oh, that is Melania. Oh, never mind.
Reverend Jeff Radcliff. Did I hear you correctly?
You may have. I don't know. What did you hear?
Drag performers crash Trump's date night at the Kennedy Center to protest his anti-woke agenda.
I love this.
The first couple were met with a mixed reception at the Kennedy Center's opening night of Les Miserables, while a group of drag entertainers were greeted with cheers. President Donald Trump and First Lady Melania Trump received a mixed reception of cheers and boos when they attended the Kennedy Center's opening night performance on Wednesday, June 11th. However, a group of drag performers, of which, and I've known this for a long time, you just don't mess with drag queens. They will take you apart. Okay?
They will take their earrings off and beat you to death with their wigs.
That they will. A group of drag performers who arrived ahead of the first couple received applause and admiration from the crowd. The videos captured by fellow attendees showed Tara Hoot, Mari Concarney, Ricky Rose, and Vaggenesis, all in full drag, smiling and waving as they took their seats ahead of the performance. As an Instagram post said, a national network of drag performers fighting hate and censorship confirmed that the performers' attendance was a protest of Trump's presence at the show following his ban of drag at the center. The post also added, free expression means everyone, no exceptions. Tara Hoot. Isn't that a great name for a drag performer? Mm-hmm. Tara Hoot reflected on the experience in a video following the show, saying, the staff at the Kennedy Center, they were just delighted to see us walk in. I wonder if that was the same reaction from Donald. And JD was there too.
Oh. You're giving me ample opportunity to practice the spiritual principle that I tell everybody on this show every week. I don't practice it perfectly. You see, I'm living it right here for you. Make my snarky, nasty little comments. But in the big scheme of things, we have to remember, and for those of you who are going out tomorrow to the No Kings protest, please remember, anybody who gets in your face, they are also an expression of divinity. The only reason they're expressing the way that they are is there's a feeling of separation from God and from each other. Because if they realized and remembered that we are all one, then there'd be more love there. So yes, just remember that these are expressions of divinity, and in that respect, we need to hold them up in prayer.
Well, I know that the magic chime in the background says that we need to go, but I want to acknowledge a couple of
it's 2 minutes
here.
Past that, so.
Okay. My buddy Tim says, I truly believe that most American citizens just want to live in peace and fairness. I am a moderate politically, and I don't expect politicians to be like holy men and women. Well, they're not. And it says, just not authoritarianism. Just leave us alone, please. Amen. I agree, Tim. And all that here. Sorry if these comments, Tim, you're talking about Friday evening fireside chat here, where legal allows. Legal allows Jeff Radcliff to cuss.
They've said that we've said so much worse, Tim. So don't spread it. You're an amateur at this. You stick around for a while, we'll get you up to pro level. You'll be dropping F-bombs on the air too.
Time for us to go.
I know, right?
Yeah. Tim says, appreciate you guys. Tim, not as much as I appreciate you, my friend. And
and Tim, the answer to your request, yes. Look for it.
What?
It's private. Oh, he sent me a friend request on Facebook.
Oh, okay. Tim, you may regret it.
I don't friend everybody on my personal page, but my ministry page is out there and open for everybody. Giatti Ministries, GIATI Ministries. God is all there is. That's what it stands for. Look for me there if you don't think you can handle me on my personal page. And trust me when I tell you, you think I'm off the chain here? Baby, you ain't seen nothing yet.
We've got to go. Ladies and gentlemen, wrong channel.
The star of the show, Reverend Jeff.
The star of the show. Yes, he is. And he thinks he is. But yes, he is. Well, anyhow, thank you again for joining us this evening here on the Friday Evening Fireside Chat. Again, that we know that somehow or another that good is coming out of all of this. It seems like chaos right now, but somehow or another, we believe the good is coming out of all of this. So again, thank you so very much for joining us this evening. We will see you next week here on the Friday Evening Fireside Chat. On behalf of myself and the Reverend Jeff Radcliff, I am Reverend Michael Mangus. I'm going to wish you a very pleasant good night and also sweet dreams.
Thanks for joining us this evening for Friday's Fireside Chat with Pastor Michael Mangus. Join us again next week at 8 Eastern, 6 Mountain for more spiritual conversations for today. For more information and replays of past shows, please visit the New Thought Radio and Media Network's Facebook page. Until next week, may God bless you richly and abundantly.